Welcome, everyone. We're here with Jim McLaughlin. He is a recent Triton ITT graduate. Thank you for joining us, Jim, to talk a little bit about your experience.
Thank you.
Let's go back to the beginning when you were originally considering jumping into ITT. What were your motivations for doing so?
Well, I was sold on the word integration. I had done previous trainings and workshops and stuff, but the one part that I was really present to was the need for me to just integrate my past training and transformational training into myself. And so that's what I was really looking forward to when I first heard it.
Yeah, that's powerful. And as you considered jumping in and you understood the structure and so forth, did you have any objections that you within yourself that you had to overcome?
No, I really liked there's just two key graphics I think that underpin the whole training, and I really like that, and I just kind of almost like a meditation, just kept trying to go back to the two key graphics. One is like a survival context and the other is a transformational context, and like each moment just kind of asking myself, which context am I in and coming from? And it's a little bit of work, but that's what I kept doing. But as far as resistance, no, it just seems so straightforward and simple, yet not so easy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the nature of transformation, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, it seems like it was kind of perfect timing for you, and you had the time to do it. You had the revenue to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
for you, it was probably more just a question of, did you want to explore life again, explore what's possible again, and dive deep into yourself again? And it sounds like you were just up for that at that moment.
Yeah, just I guess I have a belief that we just have all these layers of blind spots, so it's important to kind of stay in the conversation, to kind of keep being challenged, do new things, so that unknown blind spots can be revealed.
Yeah, definitely. Now, when you went into ITT, did you have any particular, uh, I don't know, what they call pain points in your life, or issues that you were particularly looking at addressing, or did stuff become revealed throughout the course? What kind of things were you working on?
Well, I didn't know it at the time. I was, and still am a bit, resistant about romantic relationships. So I was like, I am done through, never, don't even talk about it. And so I guess it was maybe about a little over halfway through or whatever, we got into romantic relationships. And what I found was the resistance is about what I kind of have as, uh, struggles or drama in relationships. And what I came to realize was that there can be drama, and then if you just kind of just keep it at drama and don't work through it, it just kind of builds up a lot of resistance and trouble. At least that's my experience. But that there is a possibility to kind of build up in like a big crescendo of drama, but that the resolution and getting through it actually, when it's done well and thoroughly, it actually makes for a better relationship. But I had always kind of got into the big dun 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 crescendo, and then I go to bleep bleep, and I just leave it there, and it never came to a resolution. And so if I'm like, if I want, I don't want any more of that. But now I see that it can be worked through and come to the other side.
Oh, that's wonderful. So
Mm.
you came into it, you weren't really thinking about it, as you said, but
No, I was like, no, no relationships for me.
yeah.
No, thank you.
So you went from no possibility to now you're open to the idea?
Yes, yeah. And that wasn't even, like you said, what to work on. That wasn't even something to work on. Other than that, yeah, I just wanted to stay in the conversation because I never know. And this is an example of a blind spot that I just, you just don't see, or, it's just so suppressed that I don't see it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a great point. It's nice if people can pinpoint issues they want to work on, but I wish there were more um, sympathy for kind of what you're talking about. Like, there could be things going on so deep inside you, you don't even know that you need to work on it or want to work on it. And so
Hmm.
you're only going to find out if you start digging.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. And so tell us a little bit about your experience over the 3 months. Uh, I really enjoy having that time to have that cumulative effect of week after week building upon itself. What was your experience of that?
Yeah, it was really uh, well done, kind of, building and digging and building and digging, and looking at, I guess, what could be called the shadow, and a lot of self-reflection and mindfulness stuff too, to just be able to be the observer of that stuff. I think that was really a good groundwork. That's what I found. It was good groundwork to kind of be the observer of me acting out or doing ego defense type things. Um, and then, yeah, and then just kind of at the end, how it kind of came to a finish. It was really good, thorough, and it was just kind of, going around and around on some very basic ideas from my point of view, but again, simple, but not simple necessarily to practice. And yeah, no, it was really good, very rewarding, and it gave me a chance to look at how I'm showing up in the world.
Mm, mm. Awesome. So now you've been out of ITT a couple weeks, and what do you notice is different about how you're showing up, or your perspective on life, and how you're interacting with the world?
Well, I think it's when usually I'd get kind of hooked and taken away with upsets or something. I think even if I wanted to stay upset, it doesn't happen. So why I'm laughing is this morning, I had some like mocha, coffee or something, and I ended up spilling it all over my paperwork. And usually I'd go and go kind of crazy at myself and the coffee cup and everything. Though, I kind of got angry for like a hot second. Then it was almost like there was a disconnect in that it just couldn't perpetuate like a domino effect. And then I was just like yelling, screaming, getting upset at the coffee cup is not going to be very effective. So then I was a little whatever about the coffee, but I just cleaned it up and then it was over. But previously, I had probably fumed about it for quite a while. But I found that I just don't stay upset. And then I had an argument with my sister, and I did lose it for a hot second. And then I just said, "Look, I can't really talk now. And then when I got down the road, usually I'd be kind of fuming and, but just a little bit down the road, I was like, once I kind of got some distance between it or something, I just called her and said, look, I overreacted and I got to apologize. And, let's get together and patch it up in the future. So that's one thing. Now that you mentioned it, that definitely is a change. And I also notice, all I can say, it's a quietness in my brain or my head, that there's a quietness, and it's two things together: a quietness, and almost as if there's more time when I am kind of quiet. So sometimes I'm always rushing maybe into the next activity, not quite present in the now, because the next thing, like a horse galloping or something, is how my mind is, or thinking about negative stuff or something. But then now it's just pretty quiet, and it's actually like, let's say I got to do something in 5 minutes and I got an alarm. It seems like the 5 minutes is like 15 minutes or something. So it just seems that when I do get quiet, there's actually time kind of stretches out a bit, and my brain or whatever is a lot quieter.
Mm, that's really deep, very powerful.
Mm.
Um, and of course, like any transformational work, you got guidance and coaching and support, but ultimately you're the one who did the work, and it's so wonderful to hear that you're staying with it, and
Mm.
maybe even deepening your experience, because as I always think, transformation or enlightenment is, I think, fairly challenging to achieve, but really easy to lose,
Mm.
even if you have achieved it. And that's one of the things we were intending with ITT, is to give people actual tools that they can use to really sustain their transformational experience. So it's not just a a memory, that a good memory that we have from the past.
Mm.
Um, so can you maybe tell us a little bit about uh, the tools that you created for yourself?
Well, one is just like the observer of myself. Um, and now it's almost like with the coffee, it's all this mess all over my paperwork. And now it's like automatic. I just am kind of a little separated from stuff. And that came from the practice that I continued, which is just to kind of mindfulness or whatever, just to kind of sit there and, not really think of anything, and not really try not to think of anything, just to kind of be present and observe, not describing or whatever, just kind of, it's a mindfulness thing. And the interesting thing that I experienced with that is that there's like a buffer between me and what I'm experiencing or something. So even if I get into an argument and I do get taken a bit, there's still this, I'm not so attached to it, or so almost super glued to it, but I'm easily able to get a little distance or something from it, and just stuff happens or whatever. And just again, be very quiet, just looking, and it kind of controls the little voices. There's like, I call it like the little drunk parrot in my head that's always saying random things. And it can say stuff, and I just keep just being there. And so that's a practice, and I guess I would say an ability, or an enhanced ability, to just be present and not necessarily triggered by things.
Yeah, yeah, that's powerful. And as you say, it's one thing to understand that, and it's another thing to really get it and be able to use that, and especially in stressful times or
Yeah.
challenging times, to be able to uh, stop, look, and choose, so to speak.
Hmm.
So so I think that's so exciting that you're creating this um, elevated perspective on your experience. And I really hope people will pay attention to this and understand that 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 takes training. You have to train your mind in a way, or yourself, whatever you want to call it, to shift its locus of perspective, because
Hmm.
the mind wants to just attach itself to the drama of the moment and amplify it.
Hmm.
And if we don't train it otherwise, it's just going to run wild. And so ITT carefully guides you through a process of training yourself to do that. And again, I give you the credit because you had to do the work. And the work, just so people know, right? We have our weekly meetings with the trainers and the coaches, and then you have your small group meeting as well, and then there's readings and practices that you're
Hmm.
doing. Sometimes it's like reflective practices, but still. uh, so is there anything you want to say to people watching this about what can they expect when they go through ITT, excuse me? What will
Hmm.
be, mm, what are they in for, essentially?
Oh, a couple things. I think a different if they've done different transformational type work that this, one, that's great. It's part of your makeup, your history and stuff. And to be a beginner, I think fighting and not having a beginner's mind doesn't serve. And so that's one thing that I did, that I found very useful, and I saw it being very useful for others to just, okay, I know you've done 20 years of, and you studied under Sri Sri somebody, um, but be here now as a beginner. That's one. Two, I found, you know, I, it added a little bit of time, but I did a buddy call, and then we were in a little four-person group, and the other team did a buddy call, and then we came together, and then we in our small group and talked and shared what we got out of our buddy talks, and maybe if somebody didn't do it or didn't quite get it, I found that very helpful. But it added like an extra hour for a buddy talk during a week. What else? I went back and I watched the initial video, which kind of to me set the context a couple times just to make sure I really got the context, because to me that context just was a guiding principle throughout the beginning to the end. And also, if again, if people have done this kind of stuff before, that this is a bit different context. It may look a bit similar, but it's revamped in a different framework. Um,
Yeah, I
and
think that's good.
Yeah, and the time that you put into it is worth it. It's well worth it for peace of mind. Heck, lower blood pressure and so forth. Right.
Yeah,
So that's
well,
it.
and then that frees you up to uh, channel your energies into expressing yourself and creating intimacy and turning your projects into results, and you know
Mhm.
all of that stuff that we really want to spend time on, rather than all of the drama and wasting our time on feeling bad and resenting and all of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think you're right. It's a time commitment, and to some extent, people have some flexibility about how much time they put into it.
Mhm.
But like most things, the more time you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I also think, like you say, since you're working on yourself, it's not like you're sacrificing your life really for, I mean, I think on balance, you're enhancing your life.
Mhm.
Even if you need to set aside some time for some calls, it, what you get out of it is so much more. It's like, yeah, it takes time to work out your muscles and, aerobic and so forth, but you benefit from that all the other times you're not working out too,
Mhm.
and of course there's a balance. If you're working out 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, that might take over, but an hour a day, couple hours a day, possibly, that's probably going to enhance your life. And we don't really have a workout for our
Mhm.
beingness in the world. And so this is where this comes in.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So anything else you want to add about your experience, or uh, just whatever you want to say to people watching this about the value of ITT and how you feel about it?
Um, I would say to do it. Again, if you've done trainings before, um, still, this is to integrate those trainings from my point of view and what you learn here to really integrate it, into your way of being or into how you're showing up and being present in the world. And again, yeah, just the time. It may be a bit of time, but like I said, I experienced that I actually have more time on the backside or something. So um, that's all. Yeah, I just would recommend it.
All right. Well, you heard it, folks. So if you're considering taking the next step in your life and your enlightenment and your transformation, we recommend you, first of all, take the Odyssey if you haven't yet, and jump right into the 3-month ITT, and integrate transformational principles and practices into your everyday life. Thank you very much, Jim, for taking this time. And it was so wonderful working with you in the first ever ITT, and your participation was such an enhancement to everybody. So thank you. I can't thank you enough for everything.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, my friend. All right, take care.
Bye bye.
All right.